Okay, welcome back. In this episode, I wanted to go over the prerequisites and the process for becoming a lease operator at night transportation. Let's go. First thing you need. So the first thing you need in order to become a lease operator is 9 months of experience. This can be at any company. It doesn't have to be at night transportation, but you just need 9 months of truck driving experience anywhere. Second thing you need is 3 months at night transportation. So you do have to be a company driver at night transportation for 3 months. They do this in order to make sure that you aren't some crazy driver, your safety score isn't just crazy bad, or you're not burning excess fuel, going out of route, and things like this. So they have you do 3 months as a company driver at night transportation, and then after that 3 months, you can apply for the lease operator program. So that 3 months and the 9 months of experience needed is actually pretty interesting because to me, that indicates that this is not a predatory program. If it were a predatory program, they wouldn't require any of that and they would just throw you in it and then get whatever they can from you and then throw you into the wolves. But it doesn't appear they're doing that, but because they require 9 months of experience over the road and then 3 months where they check and make sure that you can actually succeed as a lease operator. So that's interesting. So after that 3 months, you will apply, and it usually takes about a week or so to get approval. It's a very simple process. For me, I just called up the lease operator, or the lease coordinator, and we did a quick over the phone interview. He looked at my safety score, he looked at my fuel consumption, he looked at all of this, and sent in the application, and then that was pretty much it. It went to my terminal, the terminal approved it, and then I got approved. And it usually takes about a week after everything's said and done. So after your application is approved, you'll start to look for a vehicle. And it's best to look for a vehicle in your geographical region. And the reason for that is, well, pretty obvious. If it's near you, then A, you don't have to go all the way across country when you need to pick up your vehicle. And B, if you're looking for a vehicle in your region, you'll be more likely to run routes that will pass by the terminals that the vehicles are located at, which will make it a lot easier to inspect them. Now, for me, locating a vehicle took about a month. So I went to a number of terminals, Salt Lake, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and I inspected about 5 or 6 vehicles, I think, before I finally picked one. And you should do that too. Do not just look at one vehicle, pick it, and then move on. Look at multiple vehicles, inspect multiple vehicles, and find one that you think is best suited. So I would highly recommend you look at 5, 6, 10 vehicles, whatever, before you pick one. After you select a truck, you'll find anything that's wrong with it, anything you want fixed, and then you'll submit a repair request to the local shop terminal that you want it repaired at, and then they will work on any issues you have with it. For mine, there weren't any issues really, just some small stuff. The refrigerator door was broken, so I asked them to fix that. I requested new drive tires as well, so 8 new drive tires, and a couple other small things like that. What they'll also do automatically is they'll increase the governor from 65 to 70, and they'll do a PM, and they'll do just a number of small things like that. So after you pick a truck, you'll send it into the shop, and then the shop will start working on it. This is what takes the longest time though. So the lease coordinator quoted me about 1 to 2 months for my vehicle. Hopefully it doesn't take 2 months, but it might. And I have heard of a guy who sent his vehicle in and it took 3 months to get it worked on. So just be prepared for that. So after you select a vehicle, which you should usually take about a month or more to select, you will then have to send it into the shop, which might take anywhere from 1 to 3 months, but hopefully not more than a month. But the whole process can take 3 or 4 months to get done. So just be prepared for that. And that's after the 3 months of experience at night transportation. So you do 3 months company driving, and then it might take you 3 months before you actually stepped into a vehicle. After the vehicle is out of the shop and after everything's good, you'll get the truck. So you'll get the truck, you'll sign the paperwork, and then you're a lease operator at that point. Now, after you sign the paperwork, there's a 15-day period. There's a grace period of 15 days where if something goes wrong with the truck, you could turn it back in scot-free. So you're on the road, driving down the road, transmission blows, well, you can turn it back in. You're on the road, check engine light comes on and it's a major issue, you can turn it back in. And you can choose to have them fix it, or you can choose to have them find a new vehicle for you, or you find a new vehicle. But there's a 15-day grace period that you get, and in that 15 days, if anything goes wrong, you can turn the vehicle back in. And you can have it repaired, or you can just straight up turn the vehicle back in. 15 days. So after that 15-day period, you will then be a lease operator. Now, the lease agreement at Night Transportation is a walkaway lease, meaning if you just don't want to do it anymore, you can turn the vehicle back in and you can just walk away from it, barring major damage or barring major issues with the vehicle. Yeah, if you turn the vehicle back in and it's just torn up, the interior is torn up, there's something major, you didn't put engine oil in it or something like that, yeah, you're probably going to be on the hook for some of that. But it is a walkaway lease, and barring you destroying the vehicle, you could simply walk away from the lease if you don't want to do it anymore. So that is the process for Night Transportation and their lease program. It does pay by the mile, and it is not a percentage-based pay. Now, I've seen a lot of bad reviews for these lease programs, and I think a lot of it is warranted. When these things first came out, they were extremely predatory and they were extremely exploitive. Now, in today's age where people have kind of become aware of these lease programs, I think if you're going to enter a lease operating agreement, it should be paid by the mile. And the reason why it should be paid by the mile is because, yeah, as a lease operator, your margins are smaller than if you go get a bank loan or you just own your truck outright. Obviously, it's going to be, the margins are a lot smaller. And if you're getting paid by the mile and you're getting a fuel subsidy, things should be relatively stable no matter what. So trucking is a very volatile market. You know, in 2020, 21, the freight was just through the roof. The freight prices were through the roof. And yeah, if you were getting paid on a percentage-based lease, then you were doing very well. But now, with the rates just cratered, if you're in a percentage-based lease, with these rates and these fuel prices, I don't see you making it unless you got a really good deal on the lease. The rates are just too low and the fuel prices are just too high for a percentage-based lease to succeed here. And when I look at it, this is what I'm seeing, and this is what my opinion on it, that yeah, the lease programs, the lease agreements can be very bad for the driver if it's a percentage-based. And the reason for that is, yeah, well, you know, you might be rocking and rolling in like 2021 when the prices and the fuel prices were low and the freight market was on fire, but now you're probably going out of business. Whereas if it's a paid by the mile, well, it should be pretty stable, especially if you got that fuel surcharge involved. So there's still a lot of bad reputations for the lease programs. I'll find out if this one is a bad one, and I'll post it very transparently. Doesn't appear to be, but I can't help but think that where a lot of guys go wrong with these lease programs is they do a percentage-based lease, and then, you know, over the course of the truck payment, you know, 3 years or whatever, they just might have a really bad year, and they might go bankrupt, and then they're just jaded by these lease programs. That's my theory on it. Not sure if it's true, but that's my opinion. That's my theory on it. And my advice would be, if you're thinking about a lease program, start off in one that pays by the mile. That way, even if the market goes completely south like it is right now, you could probably get by on it. Whereas if you're getting paid percentage, you're going to have a bad time and it's going to be rough. So that's just my opinion on it. And with Night Transportation having 9 months of experience as a prerequisite and having them requiring 3 months of experience at the company, to me that indicates that this program is not as predatory as some of the other ones. That's just my opinion. I don't know for sure, but based on the lease analysis I did in the last video and based on what the process has been, it doesn't seem like this is a predatory lease agreement, and it does seem like you can succeed to an extent in this program. And that's why I'm going to try it. And we'll find out whether that's true or not. But that will do it for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button. And I posted all of the spreadsheets that I've been using down below. So if you're interested in those, go ahead and click on them. I converted some of them to Google Spreadsheets, so there might be some formatting issues, but in general, they should be good to go. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.